Hello, fellow traders. It is Saturday, June 13th. We're doing some studying and preparation for the upcoming week of trading for the week of June 15th. I have a number of different names here. I think it's 7 or 8. I'm going to be keeping top watch for this week. I thought I'd review them in my weekly video here. Just running through some potential ideas for day trades and swing trades. I'll kind of walk you through some of my thoughts as we go. First, starting off is with gold. We've had gold consolidating in this tightening range over, looks like the last couple of months. We recently set a weekly higher low, looking to confirm that it is in fact a weekly higher low with a break above 1745. On the daily, we've been really strong with a strong bounce, having a potential resistance against the 1745 level, then a daily inside bar on Friday into the close with decent volume. I don't love this upper profit taking from the daily candles. I have a swing position trading GLD in a longer term account that I've been swinging for a couple weeks. I sold into this Nissl strength and then was riding this down. I re-added as into hourly, and I think we hit 4-hour oversold conditions as well, looking for the weekly higher low. I was adding in this descending wedge type setup, which has since broken bull, looking for a daily higher low this coming week to play against the 1670 level. I'll be looking to add to that position. I'm looking for continuation on the weekly and monthly time frame into July and middle of the later summer and mid-fall, early fall. BA has had spectacular volatility lately for day trading and swing trading. This has been a day trader favorite of mine. Here we're looking for a daily inside bar from Friday relative to the range that we saw on Thursday. Really significant volume causing some gaps I'm going to highlight here. The red lines indicate some gaps. The blue lines indicate the low and high of day prior from Friday. The EMA pack I use is the 8 EMA, the 12, and the 26. Let's just simplify, clean that up. So we have this daily inside bar set up from Friday. Top of the resistance is 191.30. Base of support is 176.26. Bulls want to break that 191.30 level to get into this gap and then also break the 197.40. If they do break the 191.30, they can be confident this is the daily higher low. We're then looking for a daily lower high against this, the high of the bounce, the 234.20, due to the size of this pullback. Let's do a quick fib and see if we can get a target on that. So the pullback was pretty decent. We didn't hit the golden pocket. Let's see. On the bounce, let's do the other way. So looking for a potential target zone if we were to get into a position. This is going to be a key level to watch. This 207, 208 level. This is going to be the golden pocket retracement if and when we do see a bounce. Bulls can play this gap and look to play the potential test of the resistance at the 0.5 and at the golden pocket. Anything on the hourly? I think I did. Yeah, on the hourly we had this bounce from the low. This is the low day Thursday, and then this is the Friday open, setting this hourly lower high. This would have been a nice short, given this setup for resistance. Look for an hourly higher low, lower high, higher low, bull breaks. This is a little hourly trend change, potentially suggesting this is the low. This is our daily higher low. For bulls to be really confident, we want to keep this consolidation short and tight. Maybe you'll pull back into the 195 level or 185 levels, and then a break of that 191.30. That would be a really nice setup for Monday, depending on where we open in pre-market. The quick thing is the notable volume. So we had short and sweet and decreasing bear volume on this consolidation, and then relatively larger and increasing bull volume on the that little hourly trend change. So that's pretty nice, something that we're looking for. Nice volume spike here at the 166.01 level as well, indicating that potential low. Someone could have swung that if they were so inclined and were accurately protected of their risk given the how hard of the waterfall that we were selling off into the hourly and 4 hour setup. Moving on, Penn. Penn is also a really great trading volatility name. Looking for a weekly higher low here as we approach the 8 and 12 EMAs on this weekly. Seeing nice decreasing volume as we were approaching that 39.18 all-time high. We broke it, but quickly rejected from that R3 pivot for the year, or resistance level for the year. Now looking for a weekly higher low. There's a potential of a cup and handle type setup. It's not a true cup and handle setup because ideally we would want this right side of the cup to be below the left. That way you get cascading breaks of stop levels. And the idea being is that you get increased volatility and follow through as those stops trigger stop buy orders at the market. So let's see on the daily. Daily, we have a nice daily inside bar setup. Bulls definitely want to get over that 30.58 level while holding 28.58 on end consolidation. Again, we want to see an hourly trend change to confirm that this is the daily higher low, or daily low really. We lost the daily uptrend with the break of this previous level. And then looking for a daily lower high due to this, again, due to the size of this pullback. Let's do a quick fib pull. Some potential target zones. Yeah, let's get up to this 34 level, let alone the golden pocket. I think that would be a reasonable target for any longer term swing or mid-term swing positions. If you're swinging in a couple days, $34 would be a decent target if we get a break of 30.58. Hourly is a pretty similar look, getting a tightening range. So you have a high, low, lower high, higher low. I guess this is technically a higher high, but no follow through. Higher low, low and relative decreasing bear volume, increasing and relatively higher bull volume. We want to test it and break this key levels 30.58. There's going to be the smaller resistance right behind it from pre-market on Friday. Yeah, this is also a really nice setup for a day trade or a potential swing candidate for Monday. Also, I like the low relative volume on this consolidation day, especially with SPY seeing lower lows, albeit bouncing. Penn did not, so we held the range of the day prior, showing some relative strength compared to SPY. DKNG. DraftKings looking for weekly higher low, decreasing volume on the weekly. There's still some notable space between here and the 80 EMA where we would suspect we would get a decent pullback. If the market bounces, it could be a candidate for that's just showing some relative strength, not pulling back as far as some other names. Here we're showing that we were initially holding the first initial pivot for the month, 34.63 area. There's also a descending wedge here. So when you go down to smaller time frames, this is the 4 hour, we see bulls rejected from the pivot for the week and then pulled back heavily. When we did pull back, we broke to lower lows. The 35.55 level broke into 35.25, but bears did not see any follow through. Bounced pretty much initially or immediately. So what we look for here is a descending wedge. Oh, I already have that. What's happening? That's not what I want. Let's do this. There. So we already had it set up. This is the descending 4 hour wedge that we're looking for. Let's clean this up. It isn't the best. It's a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So descending wedge on the 4 hour. What a descending wedge shows us is that we're getting lower prices, lower highs and lower lows. So we're technically in a downtrend, but the downtrend is not getting significant follow through to the downside. So that's suggesting that bears are not as strong as they would want to be, which was also being reflected on the weekly, that we have not pulled back to the weekly 80 EMA yet. So we haven't had as much pullback as we would anticipate given SPY weakness. Also breaking the high of day prior on Friday, where SPY saw some decent follow through initially onto the lower lows after bouncing into the end of the day. So similar to Penn, we're seeing some notable strength in this sector relative to SPY. Interested in a bull play with a break over these levels on Monday. Let's pull up. Let's mark out those other price levels that we want to keep watch of. The prior. There's no gaps there. Potential resistance here to keep note of. Same here. So bulls want to get that break of 38.40. while holding 35.71. On that descending wedge setup, descending wedges can be tricky and can chop you up, so I may actually wait for a bull break and then a consolidation, maybe against the pivots from last week, or when we see the levels for next week, I may look to enter on a higher low if we do in fact break bull and then consolidate. That would be my entry target zone, to make sure that I hopefully I don't get too chopped up in that range. Penn is a little bit cleaner setup for that reason. Penn also doesn't have the overhead resistances that we have here with the 40.80 level and the 42.48. Because Penn was flushing so hard, we would anticipate the bounce to also be a little bit harder, because you have that lack of resistance on the way up, whereas DKNG has had this stair step down pattern in that wedge setup. So I like Penn a little bit better. Nikola had great trading on this on Friday. I have another video coming out next week where I highlight a way to be protective and stop yourself from losing in a position even when you're wrong. So look for that to come out on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Nikola, we have a daily, or NKLA, we have a daily inside bar staying within the range of Thursday. 67.59 key level of resistance, decreasing bear volume, or decreasing overall volume rather, as we get into a daily inside bar setup. I like the low relative volume on Friday compared to the days prior. I also like the relative strength that we see in NKLA compared to SPY and some of the other key sectors that are leading the market. This was an interesting setup where we had this bounce into resistance, into this $69 resistance. We had this bounce pre-market and then consolidating into the day. The hourly look was also interesting. The day trade that I was looking for and played long and was profitable even though we saw lower prices, and is the topic of my video on Wednesday, that we're just looking for an hourly higher low. You technically had this little pop and rip lower, but if the $61 level can hold, I'm going to be looking to play this on Monday. NKLA and Penn, followed by BA, are probably my top watches for day trade setups. Netflix is a bit of an interesting look because there's a really good bull and bear scenario here. The bear scenario I covered last week with the weekly head and shoulder setup. This would be the left shoulder, this would be the head, and this is the formation of the right shoulder. For bears to confirm, we got to break this 397.86 level. I played this short on Friday, had some really good success on it. Pretty much nailed the top, and covered into the 414s. So I got the majority of this move, which I was pretty happy about. As I was highlighting it last weekend that I was going to be watching it all week. On consolidation, bulls just want to hold this, defend this 404 and 397.86 level, and just confirm that this is in fact a daily higher low with the change of that hourly trend change. What we want to be cautious of though is you're getting an ascending wedge. So this is kind of the opposite of DraftKings. It's kind of the opposite of DraftKings where we saw that descending wedge on the 4 hour. This is an ascending wedge on the daily, showing bulls are getting a lack of follow through on this bounce. This was a really interesting wick, and this action that ripped higher, took out all these stops for longs, and then ripped lower over the preceding 2 days. That's a really nice bull trap. So we would suspect that there to be a lot of sellers up in this region they're looking to try to get out, break even. If we see it bounce up to that level, I'm interested in what the price action tells us up here. That could also be a level to top fish short if we're looking for that potential weekly setup for that weekly head and shoulders play. If bulls want to defend against that, they need to step on the gas, show us increasing bull volume, a break of this resistance level, the 445.57, and hold above this level, show that they can sustain those prices and not be overwhelmed by an increase of supply into the market. This is another one of my top watches, and something that you can look to swing long or short depending on how that thesis plays out. I'm going to just do a quick one here on Tesla, Microsoft. Tesla's looking for a daily higher low, increasing volume. As we look for that daily higher low near these EMA zones, we have a gap to fill 909.16 to 886.52. If bears can see much more follow through, otherwise just looking for a daily higher low there. and Microsoft looking for a daily higher low after this really big rip and follow through into, I think, all-time highs. Yeah, into all-time highs last week. Saw a consolidation and a break to lower lows with SPY, albeit with not too much follow through. So you could look to potentially fish a descending wedge type setup if we see continued lower prices without much follow through, or look to get a setup here for the daily higher low. That's it for this week. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment below. I'm just getting this channel started, so please feel free to like and share it. And if you're interested in my content, I'd be happy to get a subscriber out of you. So thanks so much, and have a good rest of your weekend. See ya.